Father is just looking the newspaper and just looking to Mali and asking, like, ready to go out? Hmm. That had terrified Jagan at once. He had covered up any hint of inquisitiveness. Uh, did you see today's paper? No. Don't you want to? Nothing in it for me, says the son, right? Now again, right, once I'm doing these lessons, right, you may hear kind of disturbances in the background. Just forget those things, right? Just like for the moment, still this student, like still these kids are just celebrating the New Year Eve. It's like more, it's most past, but still they are celebrating. I'm just doing this in the very beginning of the year, right? So these kids are, these neighboring kids are sending this playing with the fireworks. ආහසේ ආස්කූරු යවනවා. ආස්කූරු යනකොට වල් බල්ලෝ බුරන්න පටන් ගන්නවා, right? බල්ලෝ බුරනවා ආස්කූරු වලට. So just that's the background noise. So forget those things, right? We'll concentrate on the most important thing is the noun, right? Okay, now, right. So this conversation is going on. Father is reading the newspaper. Son is coming out. He's asking, like, are you ready to go? I'll be like, ready to go out? Are you going somewhere? Says the boy. That terrified Jagan at once. I mean, that answer itself just terrified Jagan, right? I mean, like, he's upset about it a little bit, and he didn't want to go on that direction. Like, where are you going? What are you going for? What's the reason you're going for? Even thousand questions, right? Right? But here it was immediately cut off, right? Is the answer, right? And that had terrified Jagan, and at once he had covered up any hint of inquisitiveness. I mean, like, he just covered up any hint of inquisitiveness means, like, he want to know, he's curiosity. He want to know what's going on, what are you doing, what are you up to. Those things he immediately covered up. He immediately cut off those things. And did you see the new paper today? Son, did you see the paper? No, says Mali. Don't you want to read the paper today? Asked the father. Now it's like approaching in a different way, right? It's in an indirect way. Father is coming into the point, right? Want to build up a conversation. Nothing in it for me. So what's there in the paper for me, right? I mean, like, right? The boy who had walked across the hall, he didn't stop. Boy went across the hall, right? Jagan could hear the cycle being taken off its spring stand. The stand, just like when you raise the cycle stand, that the spring stand is gone up, right? Then you can hear that sound. Father could hear the sound, and the front door slamming. Ding! He closed the door behind him, right? The slam. That's onomatopoeic word, right? So it's the door is hitting the loudly and slamming. He sat still with his eyes glued to the newspaper. Jagan just went on with his reading. Son didn't stop to talk, and he went on. That's the conversation we are talking about. Father-son conversation for after 3.5 months. Onna conversation right තාත්තගේ පුතායි අතරේ තිබිච්ච conversation. ඔයිට යා මොකුත් නැහැ. Right? I mean, like, door slamming. He sat still with his eyes glued to the newspaper. God be thanked that there is no direct exit from his room to the street as my father once foolishly planned. Otherwise, I'd have lost the memory of my son's identity long ago, right? Jagan's father, when he just built this house, just planned to have a kind of a separate door in this storeroom, in this school room, direct to the road, right? Direct to the outside. But lucky, for some reason, Jagan's father didn't make the house like that way. So Jagan thanks his father, right? Oh my God, thank you, Father, for not putting a door, right? Exit in that room. If there was exit, right, I could never see Mali at all, right? It's like memory is almost deleted long ago. Means like identity of the son is long ago. Right? Lame, because if there's a exit, because if he has to go out, he has to come to the center part of the house, and there he has to take the front door, right? So that's the way at least they can meet, right? Reporting this meeting to the cousin was out of the question. So he said, I mean, like, you can't say these things to cousin, right? The cousin asked, like, did you have a kind of a new conversation? Wait, what is the last day you had this conversation? Then can you tell these things to the stranger? Like, මාස 3මාරකට ඉස්සෙල්ලා මෙහෙම දෙයක් තමයි අන්තිම conversation එක මිනිස්සෙකුට කට ඇරලා තාත්තෙකුට කියන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා හිතන්නකො, right? Just the situation, right? Reporting this meeting to the cousin was out of the question. I mean, like, no, this is out of the question, right? You can't report these things. So he said, so he just cover up this entire thing, this incident, and he nicely, diplomatically, in a more intellectual way, he's approaching the cousin's question. The trouble in our house are so different. You know, the problem in my house is a little bit different. By the time I open my eyes from my prayer, he's gone, right? In the morning, when I start and finish my prayers, my son is gone out of the house. It's been a time-honored custom in house not to disturb me when I'm praying. You know, our tradition, our household tradition from the very old days is when I'm in the praying room, no one is allowed to disturb. So my son doesn't want to disturb me when I'm in the praying room and doing praying. He don't want to disturb me by doing any talking. That's why my son silently walk away from the house. And the thing is, like, when I finish the prayers, he's almost gone. So that's what is the reason why I haven't a recent conversation with my son. How about that for an answer, right? By the time I open my eyes from the prayer, he's gone. It's been a time-honored custom in our house not to disturb me when I'm praying, but it's all beside the point. I mean, like, it's not the point here, says the father. We are straying away from the subject. I mean, like, we are running out of the subject now. What is the subject here? What is the thing I want to know from you is, what we are straying means we are going away. We are deviating. We are distracting from, we are straying. Straying, okay, stray dog කියලා කියන්නේ stray dog කියන්නේ වල් බල්ලෙක්. වල් බල්ලෙක් කෙනුට යන්නේ නැ තැනක් නෑ. ඌ වල් හරි මෙහෙ යනවා, right? ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ straying. So like our conversation is like that, straying. I mean, like, it's not directing to a place. So my point is, I want you to help me. I'm asking help from you, not these conversations, right? Please find out, if as if you were doing it on your own, why he goes every day and what happened to the story. So he instructs again Jagan, he assigns again Jagan, Jagan again assign cousin, Jagan again give a duty to cousin, find out from Mali what has happened to the novel and why he is just walking away, like just traveling these distances, right? Where he is going every day, where he goes every day, what is going on? Just check with Mali as if you are checking it with Mali. Don't try to, mention my name. You find it out and let me know. That's what the father says to Qasim, right? Did he finish it? Try to meet him and give me some information, please. I'll be grateful for your help. Like, it's a big help for me. I always thank you for your help, Qasim. Do this for me, says Jagan to Qasim, right? No. It's my duty to be service to you. Don't thank me. I'll see what I can do in my humble way. He is swelled with importance and the weight of the undertaking. Jagan felt relieved. I mean, like, Qasim says, like, okay, don't worry. Like, it's my duty, it's my service just to give you a service, right? Always. I'm happy, right? In other words, it's my duty to service to you. Don't thank me. You don't have to thank me. You don't have to be grateful for me. I'll see what I can do in my humble way, in my own meager way, in my own simple way. I'll try to help you. And, I'll see what I can do. And swell with importance means, swelling means what? It's become bloating. It becomes growing. It's become expanding. Right? You also sometimes get swelled with importance. When, like, if you are scoring, imagine after following these lessons, right? If you are getting in your essay type question in English literature for a vendor of sweet, if you score out of like 15 marks, if you take like 14 marks, you also will swell up with importance, right? Swell up can you also feel like important. So same way, right? I mean like cousin yeah, collar is right? He swelled up, he became kind of bloated with importance and weight of his undertaking. Like now he has a task to do on behalf of තාත්තටවත් කරගන්න බැරි වැඩක් නෙමෙයි මේ දැන් කසින්ට වාර දුන්නේ නේ. ඉතින් ඒ වගේ වැඩ කරන්න හරි ආසයි කසින්. ඒ වගේ දේවල් කසින්ට එනවා කියන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ කසින් වැදගත් කියන එක නෙමෙයි නේ. ටවුන් එකේ කසින්ට කරන්න දේවල් කියනවා කියන එකනේ කසින්. ඒ කියන්නේ යූස්ලස් කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයිනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ තාත්තට කරන්න බැරි. තාත්තයි දරුවෝ අතරේ ප්‍රශ්නෙට කසින්ට ඉන්ටර්ෆියර් වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියන්නේම කසින් ටිකක් පොරක් නේ මෙතන, right? That's a good idea, right? ඒ කියන්නේ එතකොට ඉතින් පොරක් නම් ටිකක් collar එක ඉස්සුනාම මොකද වෙන්නේ, right? What's the wrong, right? He swelled with importance and the weight of the undertaking. He was thinking like, now I have a thing to do, and Jagan felt relieved. Jagan felt satisfied. Oh my God, now Kasim will do this for me, right? Jagan thinks like that. So Jagan feel satisfied, right? That's what means satisfied. Means his burden is taken away. That's what you feel, relieved. Aswasinna. That's the idea, right? Relief means you feel easy, because your burden is taken away from you, right? The cousin came back 4 days later. Now 4 days have passed. It means like cousin has gone to Mali and done the investigation and found the reason, it seems, right? That's why it maybe had taken 4 days, not just 1 day, right? As in the previous situation, right? Now it's 4 days past. Cousin comes with the information, it seems, right? Took his seat beside the throne, came to the shop, took his seat beside. He has a small chair next to Jagan. He sits next to Jagan and said, now things are coming your way. New things are coming your way. I mean, like, things are changing. New things are coming in your way. One of them, amutu potak inne then, amutuma line ekak line veegena then inne, right? In your words, right? I mean, like, in your words, I know these things, right? Because I learned these things from you guys, because I was a school teacher, right? I always listen to these conversations very carefully, what the students speak, right? Their way of speaking, right? That's why I can explain these things in your own language, right? So now Jagan says, sorry, cousin says to Jagan, new things are coming your way. Your son wants to go to America. Aha. Now Jagan, I mean, like, to Jagan, this is brand new news. He never knew. For cousin, like, revealing, right? Mali was to go to America. Didn't I hint you long ago that it was coming? Didn't I tell you sometime back, right? Mali was trying to go to America, right? Now new things are coming on US, is cousin to Jagan. The first shock of impact blanked out Jagan's mind for the time, and he caught his breath as he held a momentary panic at the thought of his son removing himself so far geographically. තාත්තගේ උස්මේ රවුණා ඒක අහපු ගමන් නිකන් හක්ක පනින්නේ නැති, right? Just like, no, I'm just kidding, right? So the first shock impact, I mean, like, it's a shock. It's like a punch, in other words, right? On Jagas. The first shock of impact blanked out means took every other thought out of Jagan's mind, right? Just like a atom bomb එක ගහපු ගමන් යන්නේ shock wave එක ගිය ගමන් යන්නේ කෑලි ඔය තියෙන ගෙවල් දොරවල් ඔක්කොම උඩින් යන්නේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා, right? Just like something, it's blank the space, like something like that. It's like atomic bomb, right? The reaction is like, it's the thought of the idea of the Amal is going to America just blanked out Jagan's mind. All the thoughts immediately vanished from Jagan's head, right? Blanked out Jagan's mind for a time, and he caught his breath. Again, usmat firawna nikan. Api samare I mean, like, ගිලෙන්නෙත් නැතුව යනවනේ නේ සමහර ෂොක් වුණාම අපිට කැම ගිලෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. අන්න ඒ වගේ සිටුේෂන් එකක්, right? In a different way. And the caught his breath and had a momentary panic. Panic means like a strike a panic attack, right? No, he didn't have an attack, but it's how the author described the situation. It's like a panic. He got a kind of sudden scaredness, right? Sudden fear, right? Sudden feeling of appalling feeling, right? Panic at the thought of his son removing himself so far geographically. I mean, like the thought of Mali traveling to a geographically far away distance from India unsettled Jagan immediately, right? That's the idea here, geographically. He inanely repeated, inanely means in a stupid way, it's a kind of a funny way, it's a kind of a nonsensical way, inanely repeated, America? එකම ප්‍රශ්නේ අහනවා නිකන් මෝඩ ප්‍රශ්නත් අපි අහනවනේ නේ හිතපුවම just like when you are shocked and you are in disbelief you ask the same thing sometimes, right? America? Why America? What has happened to his book? Has he written it? Or hasn't he written it? මොකද මේ ඇමරිකා ඇයි ඇමරිකා දැන් පොත ලියලා ඉවරද ලියලා? He asked from Jagan, right? The father's one. He thinks he will have to learn that art in America. So according to Mali, right, he has to go to America to learn the skill of novel writing just to do that book. If he has to write a book, he has to learn that art, and that art is taught in America. He has to go to America just to learn those things, learn those skills, right? Says Hassin. Jagan was furious at this notion. Means Jagan got really angry about this idea. Jagan was, in other words, furious means in your words, right? Bad words, in vulgar words, it's like pissed off. I never use those things. Those are vulgar words, right? I tell this for enjoyment. Other than that, don't use it, right? So Jagan got furious at this idea. Notion means idea was outrageous and hurt his national pride. Means this idea itself of going to America is too much for Jagan and hurt his national pride. He thought India is the most important country in the world. India can provide anyone anything they want to live happily in that country. So why the heck this boy has to go to America, which is again a white people rule dominated country, just to learn this because he hated British, and no wonder he hated America, right? You know the connection between America and British, right? Americans are definitely the people who, when Christopher Columbus found the continent of America, who was living in America, it was the Red Indians, right? Red Indians are the native settlers of America. So once Christopher Columbus discovered America, that information went to Europe, and what British did was British ships came with British people, right? So many British militaries and other people into America and settled down as white people. So Americans are basically British people, right? So after some times, they have to pay taxes for England. Okay, I'm giving you some important lesson here, even it's not related to here, because it will help you in case of you are doing Maya Angelou's poem, The Caged Bird, right? These things have a definite connection, right? So what happened there is, like, these Americans had to pay taxes for British people, the British Queen. So at a certain moment, these white people thought, like, why the heck we are paying money, why the hell we are paying taxes for a faraway queen, and say we are stop paying taxes. So that's the moment British started fighting with their own people, their own brothers in America, and this war is the Civil War. And after some time, what happened was America won the fight against British and became an independent country. That's how America was born. Actually, America is just like a kind of a bastard son of the same British womb, right? ඒ කියන්නේ සුද්දගේ මව්කුස කඩාගෙන ආපු අවජාතක දරුවෙක් වගේ ඇමරිකාව කියලා කියන්නේ. ඉතින් in that context, right? In that context, there's no surprise why Jagan hated America. Mali is going to America. If Mali said he's going to Britain, Jagan will, be really agitated, right? මෙතන එහෙනම් Jagan තොවිලයක් නටනවා, right? It was luckily America, right? So but he's angry. Why does he has to leave India just to go to America? Now you understand the situation here, right? In a much more depth, right? Why he's getting angry? It hurts his national pride as an Indian citizen. He always had pride of being an Indian. He participated in the liberation fight. So he thinks like India is strong enough just to teach anyone any art in its own country. So his son going to America made him upset and may hurt his national pride, right? Going there to learn storytelling, is Mali going to America to learn the art of storytelling? He should rather go to village granny. ඇමරිකාවේ නෙමෙයි මාළි යන්න ඕන අපේ රටේ ඉන්න කවුරු හරි මේ ආච්චි කෙනෙක් ළඟට ගියා නම් කතා කිරීමේ කතා ලිවීමේ සෛලය කියලා දෙය like the me, right? Just like so. That's why father is getting angry now. Father is very nervous, right? He said, like, going to learn storytelling in America, he should rather go to a village granny. Right? He used his patriotic sentiments surging. I mean, like the patriotism, the love for his country came out of his words. Now they are jumping out of his conversation through his words, right? Exactly what I told him. Echoed cousin. Yes, that's what I told the boy, right? Why you're going to America? We have a better art. We have a better way of telling stories inside our country, right? Did Valmiki go to America or Germany in order to learn to write Ramayana? Then Ape Valmiki is the author of Ramayana, right? You know what is Ramayana? Ramayana has a connection to Sri Lanka as well, right? Rama, the king, Ravana, just kidnapped Sita from India, and that's the reason this war between India and Sri Lanka, where Hanuman and Niran came. This is an epic story. This is a big story. It's like an epic poetry, right? In India, so epic storytelling. So it's Ramayana. So Valmiki wrote this Ramayana entirely on his knowledge he got in his country. So Jagan is asking that Valmiki America ගිහිල්ලාද මේ රාමායනය ලියන්න ඉගෙන ගත්තේ කියලා අහන්නේ මේ, right? Just like ask Jagan with a pungence, pugnacity, right? Pugnacious. What do you mean pugnacious? This is a hard word, right? Write down. Pugnacious means it's like a kind of a disposition to be hostile. It's like, how can I explain? It's a pugnacious means, we'll write down, I'll tell you. A natural disposition to be hostile. It's like belligerent. Now you don't understand belligerent, right? So that's the problem. If belligerent means like becoming pugnacious means සිංහලෙන් මේ කිව්වොත් රණ්ඩු කරන්න බරයි, වලියට බරයි, right? Something like that, right? That's the idea here, right? Pugnacious. Jagan with pugnacious means getting angry and just little belligerent, right? Sometimes that's the problem my students have. Sometimes I have to use certain hard words, even worse hard words, aggravate and the very, very excessively hard words just to explain some other hard words. And students don't understand in that case. That's why I have to shift into Sinhala, right? That's why I'm doing this thing. Unless I can totally explain this in English, but still I'm doing this because you have to understand these things, right? So pugnacious means being belligerent is another word, being a little bit inclined or little bit bent towards fighting, right? Then like Jagan asked these things, right? A little bit charged, a little bit angry. Okay, strange notions these boys get nowadays, right? There you go. It's like stupid ideas, like strange notions, like stupid ideas, strange, weird ideas, these odd ideas these boys have nowadays, right? These children in their heads have like weird ideas, right? He said, avoiding gently any specific reference to his son, but he didn't say Mali had weird ideas. He said like strange ideas these boys has nowadays, right? The head cook interrupted at this point, came from the kitchen outside, right? Bringing in the flavor of kitchen smoke in order to announce, like when the, now it's funny, right? When the kitchen, like cook came out of the kitchen as if like bringing in the flavor of kitchen smoke. He smelled like kitchen smoke, right? Uh, you get the irony, right? I mean, like, this is funny way of saying things. දැන් හිඟන්නෙක් එනකොට ගෙදරට හිඟා කන්න කීයක් හරි ඉල්ලගන්න හිඟන්නගේ හිඟන ගදත් අරන් කියන්නේ ගෙදර ඉස්සරහ සල්ලි දෙන එක වෙන ගද ඉවසන එක වෙන කතන්දරයක්, right? Same way here, right? Cook came out of the kitchen just to inform something. So with that, you get this kitchen smell, right? In the cook, kitchen smoke also felt by Jagan suddenly in front of him, and the cook announced, "Saffron stock out." I mean, like, the saffron is out. Right? Just saffron is out. Kumkumi, right? Just like, right? We'll last only another day. I mean, it's like a very meager supply is there, right? It's going out. Stock is out. It means like supply as things, right? Jagan looked at him bemusedly. Jagan looked at the cook in a kind of amused way, kind of with a little surprise, not able to grasp the subject clearly. I mean, like, he was shocked, right? He was too much in this conversation. Kohiye kavilla eyasse kahilladdi නිකන් ටක්කු මොක්කු වගේ මොකක්ද මේ කියන්නේ මේ කතන්දරයක් අස්සේ එකපාරට ඇවිල්ලා දැන් just like ask something totally different, right? So bemusely, not able to grasp the subject clearly, the cousin answered for him and promised to arrange for a fresh slab price. So immediately cousin speak to the Sivaraman, the head cook, right? And say, okay, I'll arrange it immediately. Before even Jagan is the shop, right? Shop owner, right? But cousin in these cases immediately settle down those things, right? Okay, I'll arrange it tomorrow. I'll do the supply, right? So see, cousin has its own importance, right? Cousin has his own way of doing things. He also is not that. I mean, he's a loiter. He's a man on. I mean, like, on the road, right? He's a man about the town, but still he's an important figure. He has his use values, right? So yes, cousin arranged it for the Sivaraman, the head cook. And when the cook retreated into the kitchen, and the cook immediately went to the kitchen, Jagan asked, "Have you found out where he spent his days?" Now he's coming back to the situation of Mali and asked, "Where does Mali spend these days? Like, I see him going over and over, out and in. Like, how does he spend his time?" "Yeah, he goes to the town public library," says Jagan to Mali. Jagan to cousin says this to Jagan. He goes to the town public library. "Where is it?" asked Jagan. Like, where is this town public library? Maybe a new construction, right? Unless there's no point, there's no reason why Jagan should not know where the public library is, right? That's weird. Okay, so he asked, like, where it is. Never having dreamt that his town possessed a library. I mean, like, it's a new. Even Jagan didn't know that their Malgudi town had a public library in the first place. Maybe this guy didn't go out of his shop for a certain while, right? Maybe he's stuck inside his own universe of sweet making and kitchen managing, and counting his cash, going home, cooking his own food, coming to work next morning. Other than that, he is not exposed to these kind of developments in the town. Maybe that's another idea here, right? So he's like wondering, like, dreamt that his town has a library. Amma, like, Amma city. May town library right? Something like that, right? The cousin himself was not sure and flourished his arms vaguely in the direction of the river. Cousin also not sure where's the library. I mean, like, that's strange too, right? Cousin is the man who works in this town. Cousin is the man who knows every nook and corner of Malgudi. And even cousin is not sure where this public library is, right? Isn't that strange? So no wonder Jagan doesn't know it, right? So cousin just, waves his arms, like, not sure, like, where exact location of the library is, and just, waves his arms just as if just to show, right? The cousin himself was not sure, and flourished his arms means brandishing arms after just like, right? Flourished his arms vaguely, not surely, in a very hesitant way, in a very tentative way, right? Vaguely in the direction of the river. He's pointing out the side of the river. That side is the library, right? Must be one of those things for which a foundation stone is held whenever minister visits this town, right? So Kasim says like maybe that's a kind of a place, right, where stones and everything were previously, where a minister came and kept the cornerstone, right, foundation stone, but the structure was not built somewhere on that side, right? I mean, like in Sri Lanka, it's the same thing I told you, right? අමතියෙක් එනවා මුල් ගල තියනවා යනවා ඊට පස්සේ භාණ්ඩ හැදෙන්නේ නැහැ පැන හැදෙන්නේ නැහැ තව මාස 6කට විතර පස්සේ තව අලුත් ඇමතියෙක් එනවා මුල් ගල තියනවා ඒකත් යනවා තාම ගල් ටික එතනමයි ඊට පස්සේ තව අවුරුද්දකට ඉස්සර පස්සේ තව විෂය පාර ඇමති කෙනෙක් එනවා ඒකත් මුල් ගල තියනවා මුල් ගල් විතරයි තියෙන්නේ ගෙවල් ඒ කියන්නේ ගොඩනැගිල්ල හැදිලා නැහැ, right? So that situation is very common. I mean, like it's an Asian situation, right? It's the same thing. I think in 1960s India, it was a post-colonial India. It's the same situation, right? It's not something to be joking about. It's a very big political blunder, right? We appoint these people just to do these things, but if they don't do it, that's a problem, right? So anyway, so a minister visiting this town says, cousin, right? Maybe that direction, right? Where that stones and foundation stone was there is this building of the new town public library. I have known about it if it had been thing of any importance. Anyway, do they let him live there? I mean, like Jagan says to cousin, right? Of course, if it's a big building, if it's something important in Malgudi, definitely I should have known that. Whereas the public library is the importance of it, right? So I mean, like it's not something established. It's not something big in this Malgudi. Something's very small, according to Jagan. So, and this led, I mean, like after all, does the public library let my son stay there for this long, right? In other words, like මාලියා ඒක ගිහලා පදිංචි වෙලා තිබු ගෙදර වගේ ඇති, right? එහෙම ඉන්න දෙනවද කියලා අහන්නේ මේ, right? He seems to like it and does some amount of work there. Yeah, Mali likes to be in the public library, and it seems like Mali is doing some work in the public library too. What sort of work? Asked Jagan, appalled at the notion that Mali should have become a library assistant of all things. I mean, like, what work is Mali doing in the library? Asked Jagan, again a little bit agitated, little bit upset, like, then ye par meka library assistant වැඩත් පටන් අරගෙන, right? Something like that. Jagan doesn't like those things. His son doing some low quality work, he can't tolerate. He don't like him to be a clerk. He don't like him to be a library assistant. That things are not good for his status quo, right? So that's why he's getting upset now. He started being a library assistant now, of all things, right? What happened to his book? He asked desperately now. What happened to his writing? What happened to his book? He will write it in America, said the cousin. When he goes to America, he'll write the novel in America, said the cousin. Jagan felt completely crushed. You know what is crushed, right? Completely devastated, completely like helpless. Jagan pulling away, pulling away, right? Just like felt completely crushed. Adverse forces seem to hem him from all sides, right? Adverse forces means enemy forces, like your enemy forces, your force. Imagine you are in the center and you are circled or you are engulfed, right? You are seized by enemy lines and you are hemmed. Means, what is a hem? Hem is in your shirts. You find, yeah, okay, I'll show you in my shirt. This is a hem. This is a kind of a hem, right? In shirts, right? You find hems. In the trousers, you find hem. වාටිය කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒතර මොකද්ද මේ? වාටියක් ගැන මෙතන කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? The idea is like all kind of evil thoughts, all kind of adverse thoughts, enemy thoughts have encircled him around. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් him කියන්නේ දැන් වාටියක් කියන එක කරන්නේ පරිසමේ කොටසක් වට කරන එකනේ නේ. වටේටනේ වාටිය තියෙන්නේ. දිගට වාටි තියෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ. වටේටනේ වාටිය තියෙන්නේ. So that's the idea. It's like it's encircled in a way. These enemy thoughts just encircled Jagan. What are the enemy thoughts? Like here, all sort of enemy thoughts. He was upset when he discovered suddenly that Mal is not writing anymore. He's haven't finished his book. He's planning to write it in America. Because why he's devastated? You can understand, right? He stopped going school on the pretext of doing a book, writing a book. Now after September, the time lapse. I mean, like the time is gone, time is past. The time is lapsed, almost expired, right? Still, the book is not there. At this moment, he has stopped school, has not done the book. So no wonder the father is crushed, right? And all thoughts are hitting him from all over the place, bursting out with, yes. Uh, uh, Adverse forces seem to hem him from all sides, and he has to do America do with writing the book. He has read in one of those magazines at the library about a college which they teach novel writing. Yeah, there you go, Kasim. Now this idea has come to Mali because when he been to the public library, in a magazine in the public library, he has seen a place in America, a school in America, a college, not a school, a college in America, where they give the further education on novel writing. These courses are offered. These are called creative writing courses, right? Even in old days, in 1960s, it seems like America has offering uh, creative writing courses for those people, right, who is interested in writing, who's interested in writing stories. So that's a good thing. Even nowadays, there's campuses. There are so many campuses offering creative writing courses. So that's true, right? So again, Jagan once felt like bursting about Valmiki or a village granny, but restrained himself. What happened to the price? I mean, like he always wanted to speak about this Valmiki and this his work. Did he go to other countries just to learn these things? But anyway, he suddenly didn't talk about those things. He talked about like anyway. He asked like, what happened to the price now? There was 25,000 rupees price, right? What happened to the price now? Perhaps it's gone, said like Kasim. Very easily, very lightly, without any seriousness. Kasim said, right? It's gone. He hasn't written any book yet, right? පොතක් ලියලා submit කරන්න නැතුව tag එකක් හම්බෙනවද, right? ඒ කියන්නේ තව එකකට participate උනේ නැත්තම් right හොයන් ඇවිල්ලා tag දෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ තර මේ කියන්නේ තර කාර්යයක් වෙන්න ඕනේ නැත්තම් තවකට ආපු නැති මිනිස්සුන්ට tag දෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ, right? So like he hasn't written the book yet, said the cousin. Anyway, book cannot be rushed. I mean, like cousin says, right? Okay. He will write the book, but there's another problem. You can't force an author just to write a book immediately. It takes some time, right? Writing a book is not immediate business. It takes its own time. It takes its own time. It consumes its own pace of time, right? So it has to be done in a quiet, piecemeal way. I mean, you can't rush things like this, right? Even you are hungry, you can't rush a hen just to lay an egg, right? It takes its own time. In the same way, for a creative man, just to do a book, it takes its own time, right? That's in that case, Kasim is correct. True, said Jagan, suddenly remembering his son's words the other night. But added his own contribution to the theory of writing. Still, I suppose a book has to be written. Yes. I understand that writing a book takes time, but still, I think he has to write a book. He owes us a book. That's what he told, right? That's the reason he gave up school. So he has to do a book, right? I suppose his books has to be written, says father, right? According to that conversation he had previously, right? They spend a little time brooding over the mechanics of book production. I mean, the cousin and Jagan are talking about how a book should be coming to life, right? The procedure, the production, the mechanics of a book production. And she is asked like, why America? Why Mali has chosen America? What is the particular reason for choosing America? Asked Jagan, ignoring the installment of cash that was brought in while the cousin made no effort to leave. And while these things, right, immediately he is getting his first count of cash, right? That boy in the long bronze jug is the first earnings are coming to him. But at that time, normally cousin leaves, right? Leaving Jagan alone to do the counting. But At this moment, cousin is staying and discussing these things, and the jug is lying somewhere else, right? So ignoring the installment of cash was brought in. So Jagan just, didn't pay much attention to the cash he received, right? Brought in, while the cousin made no effort to leave because they are having a conversation right now, something important regarding their own child, right? Because perhaps it's the only country where they teach such things. I mean, like maybe Mali wants to go to America to learn to write novels, because at the moment, America is the only country that, teach the art of writing novels to outsiders. Maybe that's the reason, right? He want to go to America, teach things. They eat only beef. Now Degan says, like, they eat only beef and pork in that country. I used to know a man from America, and he told me like horrible things now. Like they Americans are eating only beef and pork, right? According to Jagan. I mean, like, is this true? No, they have different cuisines, right? According to Jagan, they are only eating beef and pork in that country. I used to know a man from America, and he told me Jagan says these things, right? They also drink a lot of intoxicating drinks, never water or milk, said the cousin. And cousin adds to this, right? කසිනුත් තක්කට තක්ක අරක කියනවා like ඇමරිකාවේ ඉන්න මිනිස්සු කන්නේ පෝකුයි බීෆුයි කියලා. ජේගන් කියනවා නෙමෙයි ඇමරිකාවට ගියපු මිනිස්සෙක්ද? නෑ ඇමරිකාව කවදාවත් දැකපු මිනිස්සෙක්ද? නෑ කොහොමද මෙයා දැනගෙන ඉන්නේ ඇමරිකාවේ කෙනෙක් යාට කිව්ව කියලා එයා කියන්නේ, right? එතකොට කසිනුත් එතන ඉඳගෙන පදේ අල්ලනවා. ඒ කසිනුත් අරකටම හරියනවා, හරි? ජාලියන මූඩුවේ වගේ තක්කට තක්ක, right? එයා කියනවා just like they also drink a lot of intoxicating drink, like they are drinking a lot of alcohol, in other words, right? They are using a lot of alcohol, never water or milk. These Americans don't drink water or milk, right? They are only drinking alcohol, said the cousin, contributing his own bit of information, like he's contributing his ideas to this, right? I mean, like ignorance upon ignorance, right? Is that the reality? No, hell no, right? People drink water excessively in America, right? I mean, that is very funny, in other words. These are village idiots, in other words. Kamina modio දෙන්නෙක් එකට එකතු වුණාම සුවඳයි බණ්ඩයි එකතු වෙලා තව මොනවා හරි බයින ටිකක් ගන්නවා, right? Just like that's not the reality. The reality is totally different. But of course, in America, people eat pork and beef, right? These are partial truths, not complete truths, right? Said the cousin, contributing his own bit of information, and the women are free, he added. And he also says, women are free. I mean, like, women behave very freely in these countries. Western countries, it's not like our women, right? I have seen some of their magazines about films. Their women mix freely with men and snap off marriages without ado. I mean, like, cousin says, like, I mean, like, oh my God, their women free, very independent. අපේ ගෑනු වගේ නෙමෙයි. ඒ ඇමරිකාවේ ගෑනු, right? They have seen some of their magazines. I have seen these American ladies in magazines, right? Probably kind of models, right? Those ladies in the magazines are models, right? Posing in different pictures, right? Imagine a cousin see a lady in a bikini එකක් දාගත්ත කවුරුහරි ගෑනු කෙනෙක් දැකලා මේ කියන්නේ අපි අම්මේ ගෑනු ඉන්නේ මෙන්න මෙහෙමයි ඇමරිකාවේ හැම පෙන්නගෙන right ඒ වගේ තමයි මේ කියන්නේ, right? Magazines about films. In films also I have seen this. එහෙනම් දැකලා තියෙන්නේ ඕව තමයි, right? මේ ඔළුව අවුල්ලන ඒවා තමයි දැකලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් හිතන් ඉන්නේ මුළු ඇමරිකාවම ගෑනු ඉන්නේ බිකිනි අරගෙන කියලා. ඒක අමුතුම රටක් නේ මිනිස්සු පිරිමි අර intoxicating drinks බොනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේව කන්නේ, ඒ කියන්නේ මිල්ක් බොන්නෙත් නෑ, වතුර බොන්නෙත් නෑ, පිරිමි මේව බොනවා, ඇල්කොහොල් බොනවා, බීෆ් පෝක් කනවා, ගෑනු හැම ගොඩක් පෙන්නගෙන බිකිනි වගේ වැඳගෙන ඉන්නවා, right? අමුතුම රටක් මේක, just according to them, right? It's like, oh my goodness, right? And above all, they freely mix with men. කියන්නේ ගෑනු පිරිමි හරි සැහැල්ලුවෙන් ආශ්‍රය කරන කිසිම විලි ලැජ්ජාවක් නෑ, දෙකොල්ල හරියට මික්ස් වෙලා පට ගාලා ආශ්‍රය කරන්න නිකන්. That's a very different lifestyle from Indian lifestyle. Indian women are very reserved, right? They are very traditional. This is a Western countries. These are liberal women. These women associate freely, right? What can upset a man mostly is this behavior of these women, right? I mean, for them, it's like a magic, it's like a big thing, right? At that time, we are talking about 1960s post-colonial India in a village called Malgudi, right? You can come India with heart economy, India with gamak me, right? The gamio me, right? Things about these things. And above all, they freely associate men and snap off marriage without ado. I mean, like snap off means like some snapping off means immediate. It's like fast. They snap off marriages. කියන්නේ දික්කසාද වෙනවා නිකන් සිටි ගාලා නිකන් කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ නිකන් එපා වුණාම පිරිමියත් ඇල්ලලා දානවා. තව පිරිමෙක් කියාගෙන එපා වුණාම කල්ලා දානවා. nothing යාර අපි ඇඳුම් මාරු කරනවා වගේ තමයි යාර මේ relationships ගැන කටි පිරිමි මාරු කරන ඇඳුම් මාරු කරනවා වගේ. මේ තමයි රහසින් කියන්නේ, right? That's the idea in other words, right? Marriages without a do and bask in the sun without clothes. And other thing is like, තව දෙයක් මේ සුදු ගෑනු ඇඳුම් නැතුව හෙළුවේ මේ අවුව දකින්න. It's like cousin says these things too, right? Jagan, right? Imagine now how upset Jagan is. This the country Mali was to go. Oh my God, right? Imagine this is the situation, right? Bask in the sun without clothes, right? Basking means, the crocodiles are basking, right? They are staying outside just to receive the sunlight. Using cold countries, people are basking. When the visitors come to our countries, these tourists come to our countries. When you go to Unawatuna, places like Unawatuna, in the beaches, you find so many tourists are basking because having sunshine in their skin is a kind of enjoyment. Because in those countries, there's no sunshine as they usually get, especially if you have a chance to be in Britain, right? In my case, I have been. So what you see there is sometimes, the weather is very gloomy. Even in the daytime, the weather. Imagine our noon, the sun is very bright, the sun is very shiny, sun rays are strong. For us, it's like very nuisance, right? It's a very troublesome thing for us. We like to have a umbrella or a hat just to cover ourselves, right? In England, sometimes, right, in the seasons, right, or even some kind of a day, natural day, somewhere around 12 is something equal to our 6 o'clock or just like 5 o'clock mornings. I mean, that's dark sometimes. That's that dark, seriously, right? There are cloudy, there are gloomy, just like our rainy days, right? Mostly the weather is thick. So, I mean, like, there are differences, right? So why I'm telling this is like, just to give you the idea of different situations, right? So that's why they are basking. That's why when they come to our countries, they want a lot of sunrise. They want to bathe in this sunlight, right? That's what we call basking. Okay, said that. Where did you see all this? Jagan asked Jagan. Jagan did not like look to Kasim, right? How did you know these things, right? Terrible things, right? How did you know these things? And did not note the answer from the Kasim, who flourished his arms vaguely. I mean, like when Jagan asked this question, Kasim just moved his arms vaguely and said something, but Jagan didn't pay attention to his answer, right? Jagan went on, it may not be true. And he said like, oh yeah, sometimes maybe what you are saying is not the entire truth, right? He had little brain, right? This is not the truth, not be the truth. Not wishing to think a country to which Mali was going was one of the corrupt, his body with wine, woman and meat, and his soul with other things. In other words, like the thought scared Jagan, is Mali going to a country like this, right? It cannot be true, right? Might be you are telling lies to me. This is not the reality. The reality must be changed, because after all, Mali is planning to go to a country like this, right? Where was going to corrupt his body with wine. I mean, like if he goes and drink wine, right, he'll corrupt his body, and he'll corrupt his soul pleasures with women. And if he meat, right, meat is not a good practice. It is not encouraged at that time, right? So if he's going to eat meat, that will destroy his health, right? And the soul with other things, like so many wise things, so many evil things, so many malignant things in this society. So Jagan was a little scared, says, no, this can't be true, right? You are telling lie. I mean, you are claims cannot be true, because he don't want to get the idea that his son is going to this country, right? The cousin smiled cynically. Cynical is a very kind of a negative or pessimistic. Write down if you don't. Cynicism means it's kind of a negativity. Kind of asubavadi, hinawa kiyunara, just like a cynical laugh he gave a smile cynically. Jagan had a momentary stab of suspicion that this man was at the back of it all, but doubt passed. I mean, like, suddenly Jagan thought, like, is this cousin is giving these nasty ideas to Mali just to go to America? Is it no? I mean, like, now Jagan doubt everyone. Again, Jagan හිතුණා මේ කසින්ද මේ මාලිට අදහසක් දුන්නේ ඇමරිකාවට යන්න කියලා. Jagan එකපාරට කසිනුත් සැක හිතනවා. Then Jagan කවුරුත් සැක, right? Jagan is really upset. That's what it shows, right? Doubt, but immediately this doubt passed, means this doubt went from Jagan. The cousin said he has made all kinds of preparations. I mean, Mali has started preparing himself to go America. He has started his preparations for his visit. It's another shock. All this time, father had no clue. It's the first time father knew that he was trying to go to America. But now, cousin says, Mali has started preparations, right? Without my permission or help, cried Jagan. What? Without my permission or my help? Are you telling me my son has prepared himself, has started the first steps of his journey to America? Are you kidding me, right? They have a typewriter at the library and he has been using it. I mean, like, the cousin immediately says, like, there was a typewriter in the library and Maria is using it, the typewriter, partly filled with admiration and partly enraged at the library. Jagan shouted suddenly without thinking of what he was saying, if they are going to make use of the library for such nefarious activities, right? I mean, like, so suddenly Jagan felt a happy and a sadness at the same time, right? නිකන් අසිත තවුසගේ කතාව අහලා තියෙනනේ අසිත තවුස සිදුවත් කුමාරයා දැක්ක ගමන් ඇඬුවලු ආයි hina වුණාලු, right? ඇඬුවා කියන්නේ යාට ජීවත් වෙන්න බෑ, එයා සිදුවත් බුදු වෙනකන් hina වුණේ සිදුවත් බුදු වෙන හින්දා, right? So at the same time, you know, say something like that happens in Jagan, right? He smiles. I mean, like, he's happy, he's filled with admiration that I mean, like, my son can do things on his own, right? Without any help. He's a brave son. Just to start these things without, you know, any help is a good thing, a positive thing, right? But at the same time, he's very angry that, I mean, like, is this the things the library do? I mean, like, is because the son got all these resources from the library. Is this the purpose of the library, right? To make if they are going to make use of the library for such nefarious, and nefarious means bad, evil, the extremely wicked things are called nefarious activities. You can be America කොල්ල පොළඹවන වගේ නරක වැඩද මේ library එක ඇතුලේ වෙන්නේ, මේකද library එකෙන් කරන්නේ කියලා තමයි මේ Jagan අහන්නේ, right? In case you didn't understand that. Nefarious means like extremely wicked, right? So the cousin said, did you know that he had gone to Madras for a few days? It's another surprise, right? I mean, like, suddenly, cousin asked, Jagan, do you know Mali has traveled to Madras for several days. From Malgudi, he has traveled to Madras. I mean, like, it's not just like traveling from Colombo to Peta, or from Colombo to Bamba, or from Colombo to Vellavath, right? From traveling from Malgudi to Madras means it's a big distance. It's like, imagine you are traveling from Colombo even to a place far away than Jaffna, right? In Sri Lanka, you know, what's the from the top, the what you call from Kankasanture, the tip of Kankasanture to the tip of Dondra. If you draw a straight line, right, from the top of Sri Lanka to the bottom of Sri Lanka, straight line, the total, I mean, the distance would be 475 kilometers. But when it comes to India, right, just to travel, the distance between one province, one state, and another state, imagine somewhere around 3,000 or 5,000 or 2,000 kilometers, right? It's like so many countries, right? You have to, you can travel like 5 or 6 times between Sri Lanka from top to bottom just to travel from one place to another place, because that's why they're traveling in trains, right? And these trains sometimes takes like 5 6 days, almost a week, just to pass from one province, one country to another country. Country means, I told you, those are kind of villages, right? Villages actually, these places from Madras to Malgudi, such a distance is a big distance, right? It's not just a small distance, right? We have to keep that in mind. So now it came as another surprise. I mean, like, cousin says, do you know that Mali has traveled to Madras, right? For a few days. No, without my permission or help, without telling me anything. Jagan is lost again, right? Without telling me anything, without my permission. Again, this guy, right? I thought he was in his room. I thought every day he's coming to this house and sleeping in his room. අනේ තාත්තිතු පුතා කාමරය ඇතුලේ නිදි කියලා. අනේ නෑ මේ කාමරය ඇතුලේ නෙමෙයි මේ ලෝ ගිහිල්ලා මේ මැඩ්‍රස් වල. තාත්තා දන්නෙත් නෑ. See the situation, right? Oh my God, right? You didn't expect this, right? Right. I thought he was in his room. He remembered that 5 rupee notes left by him had not been picked up on certain days. Aha! Sometime suddenly Jagan recalled, Jagan remembered, yeah. Some days I have I have kept 5 rupees. Every day he keeps as a practice 5 rupees, right? Some days Mark didn't pick up these 5 rupees notes, right? So Jagan didn't feel suspect when Marley didn't take those notes some days. Why? Jagan thought withheld the allowance hoping to be asked. Like, he thought, the thinking that the boy had been saving. I mean, like, he thought, like, okay, maybe Marley had only spent like 1 rupee, 2 rupee today, so he had like balance like 3 rupees with him for the second day, so he didn't own this money, right? So he didn't buy this, I mean, he didn't take this money. That's why the money I gave was left on the table without being used, right? So that's how Jagan told the story to himself, because he didn't have no clue what's going on under his own roof, right? But what has happened is, like, Marley was not at home entire day, so dad has no idea. Jagan had no idea that Marley was missing from his home. ඒක කියන්නෙත් නැතුව තැන් වල මේ පොඩි distance උද්දේ එන්න ලොකු distance travel කරලා without informing the father, right? So this is the situation here, right? Now yeah, he has fixed his passport and other such things, said cousin. Another surprise. Every word the cousin says come as a surprise, a total surprise, a new knowledge, a new idea, a crazy thing that Marley has done. Now Marley has started making his passports. It's the final stage, right? Making the passports is almost the final stages of, finalizing things, right? He has fixed his passport and other things. How is he going to find that fare? I mean, like, how did Marley found the money to make his passport, fix his passport, travel? How does he find the cash fare, this money, fees? Cousin says, right? He says he has got it. Marley says Marley had got the money. He said he always know where to find the money in the house. In other words, now Kasim gives this information to Jagan. He says, like, Marley says he knows the place where the cash is hidden in this house. In other words, right? මේ ගෙදර හැංගිච්ච බැංකුව Marley දන්නවා. ඉතින් Marleyට ඕන තරම් cash තියෙනවා ගෙදර, right? In other words, that's the idea, right? So all this time Jagan thought no one knows where he's hiding the cash, right? All this time he's hiding it in the loft. Can you remember? We came to that, right? He's hiding that crisp cash where he's getting these earnings, this black money, where he doesn't pay the taxes. He was hiding it somewhere, right? We'll find these things later. Jagan felt shocked for a moment. Now Jagan gets sally ham. Jagan horata hangapu sally, loketa horata hangapu sally, kolla horakam karana Jagan to horata, right? I mean, like, what an irony. I mean, like, Jagan didn't pay taxes, right? Jagan loketa horata මේ සල්ලි හංගුවේ හංගල Jagan හිතුවේ ජේගන් විතරයි දන්නේ මේක හංගපු තැන. අකුල්ල ජේගන්ගෙන් හොරකම් කරන ඉස්සල්ලි. See like how it's another way of seeing like හොරට හම්බ කරන දේවල් yaadinne කියලා කියන්නේ ඔන්න ඔක තමයි. ඒ කියන්නේ හොරට හම්බ කරත් නරකට හම්බ කරත් ඒ සල්ලි පිහිටන්නේ නැහැ කියලා කියනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ සල්ලි yaadinne නැහැ කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ සල්ලි කොහොම හරි මොකක් හරි දෙයකට වියදම් වෙනවා. So that's another indirect insinuation. It's in another indirect way of seeing this. The author never says these things, right? We have to be smart just to find out these things, right? We have to be smart just to infer meanings. That's what we call the critical reading. When we are reading critically, we have to come up when we read the sentence, right? What are the implications? Why this author is writing these things, right? What are the meanings? What are the hidden things between these lines? Those things you have to understand, right? So, okay, we'll keep that aside. Now Jagan is completely shocked for a moment, but also felt a sneaking admiration, kind of a indirect admiration. ආදරෙත් හිතුණා ඒ වගේම තරහකුත් ආවා, right? Just like shocked, he was devastated, right? The boy is very practical. මු අර කියන්නේ අපි සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ අම්මගේ බඩුවක් නෙවෙයි, right? මේ කොල්ල මාර practical කොල්ලෙක් නේ, right? Just like the boy is very practical. He said with the feeling. He sat brooding for some time and then said, now Jagan was thinking, he was just like brooding, he was inside his mind, he was now thinking certain things, right? He was planning something. He was brooding for some time and then said, trying to put on a happy look, I've tried to appear to be happy in front of Qasim and said, see how self-resilient he has grown. See how self-resilient means, like resilient means, you should know, if resilient is a hard word, write this down. Relying in another for support or dependent is called reliant, right? I mean, like, if you are reliant, I mean, you are depending on others for your support. I mean, like, you are reliant on your parents at the moment because you are not doing a job. Parents are the ones who do the earnings. Parents are the ones who's feeding you. Parents are the ones who's spending money for your schooling. So you are reliant on your parents. So what does Malik did, according to Jagan, is self-reliant. I mean, like, he's doing things. He's finding his own cash in his own way. However, even he's stealing, he's finding his own cash, right? He has alone gone to Madras and he's doing his passports alone. I mean, like, oh my God, right? Like a Mara jockey, right? In other words, right? He's so self-dependent. He don't want anyone's permission to do what he wants to do. In other words, he's self-reliant. He has grown. I always believed in leaving the entity to develop by itself, right? So Jagan thinks, you can underline, right? I have always believed in leaving the entity to develop by itself. In other words, like Jagan thinks to itself, like Jagan thinks, Jagan says these things to Qasim, right? I always believe in leaving the entity to develop by itself means, like, I always believe the boy can be grown on his own and make decisions on his own one day, be independent one day without the guidance of a parent, right? You can mama මේකට මැදිහත් නොවි උනත් මම දැනගෙන හිටියා කවදා හරි තනියෙන් හැදෙන්න ආරින එක තමයි හොඳම දේ කියන එක, right? I have always believed that in leaving the entity here is just like entity is a thing, right? Entity is a thing. The thing here is Mali. I believed in leaving Mali to develop by itself. It's like, if Mali is a thing, it's the best thing as a father I had done is just to leave Mali to grow on his own, right? Without interfering and mingling or just meddling in his affairs. Without relying on extraneous support. I mean, like, extraneous means external, outside support, right? So without relying on external support. Self-reliant, right? So self-independent is the good thing according to Jagan. That's why he's partly happy about his son. Like, he's taking these decisions on his own, right? Without consulting anyone, right? Without relying on extraneous support. As they say in Gita, every soul is a god. Now, Jagan quotes from the Bhagavad Gita some important sacred lines. Says, in every soul there's a god, in every soul there's a strength, in every soul there's a kind of a speciality, and that's this speciality in my son, right? He sees it. And a God can always look after himself, added the cousin. Yeah, true, 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 said the cousin immediately. And cousin replies, always he has a witty way of replying. He says, yes, a God can look always after himself. Yeah, දෙයියන්ට තමන් ගැන බලාගන්න පුළුවන් තමයි, right? Say cousin immediately, right? That's the whole point, said Jagan. Yeah, of course, that's the point of what I'm saying, right? That's why I never wish to interfere when he suddenly decided to end his education. Yeah, that's why I didn't tell him just to go to school or just force him to go to school. When Mari said, I want to stop education, that's why I didn't interfere with that decision, right? කොල්ලා ඉස්කෝලේ යන්න බෑකෝ මං එළෙව්වේ නැත්තේ ඒක පිටිපස්සේ මං දැනගෙන හිටියා, right? තමන්ටම හැදෙන්න දෙන එක තමයි හොඳම දේ කියන එක, right? That's the idea. I simplify things in Sinhala for you to understand, right? I said to myself, perhaps he wants to educate himself in the school of life. Right, there you go. So I said to myself, Jagan says, I told to myself, the best thing I can give my child is to learn from the school of life. You can ජීවිතේ නම් තක්සලාවෙන් ඉගෙන ගන්න අරින එක තමයි හොඳම දේ කියලා මම දැනගෙන හිටියේ කියලා දැන් තාත්තා කියනවා ජේගන්. තාත්තා කියනවා ජේගන් කියනවා Mr. Cousin, right? That's the idea here. Echoing various tidbits of banality he had picked up in the course of his life and haphazard reading, right? These are common sense talking, right? I mean, like these wisdoms, like being educated from the school of life. කියන්නේ ජීවිතේ නම් පාසලෙන් ඉගෙන ගන්නවා කියන එක මේ දැනගෙන කියන ඒවා නෙමෙයි මේ ජේගන් කොහෙන් හරි අවුලකට කතන්දර, like those are picked up. That's what we call them haphazard reading. I mean, these are not regular reading. Jagan doesn't have a regular education, right? Jagan is also a man who learned from his life itself, right? And so he doesn't say these things from books. He had these things from somewhere else and some other ideas from somewhere else, and he put all these ideas together and speak as if, right, he knows things, which is like tidbits, means little pieces of banalities, means like day to day, like boring talk, right? Boring conversations, right? That's the idea here in this lines, right?